The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. We find ourselves going to Tipton High School, home of the Cardinals, and the Class II state champions on the women's side, the Tipton Lady Cardinals and head coach Jason Culpepper. And Coach Culpepper, hey, thanks so much for helping set this up.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Coach, a tremendous run this year. Kind of put this year for the Cardinals, just kind of put a bow on it. Obviously a tremendous season ends with the state championship, but talk about that run throughout the season. You finished 31-1. The only team you lose to is the team you beat in the state championship game.
Yeah, our girls this year had an amazing season. Starting out, with Ozark to start the season, followed that up with wins against California, Cardinal Ritter, Jeff City, Skyline, Hickman, Jeff City Jays. We had a heck of a regular season, and then we went into the postseason, and our defense was locked in and ready to go, and we had a great postseason run. Finished it up with a 19-point win over a team that we'd lost to in January. So, perfect end to a perfect season.
Well, you're coming off of a season a year ago, where you finished 25-5, I think. What did you have to replace off of last year's team due to graduation, and who kind of stepped in and filled some of those roles?
Kenna Bixler was our starting forward last year, and she was the only girl on our team that was a senior last year. And we replaced her with Briar Cox's sister, Brett Cox, who was our sixth man. And she did a great job all summer stepping in and taking over. And she's, kind of a different player. She's a 6 foot forward with kind of a guard skill set as far as her ability to pass and see the floor and attack. It really opened things up for us on offense as well.
Now, that last stretch, as you go into the district tournament, you got Eugene and Sweet Springs. Not much competition there. Then you get into the New Franklin, 61-18 final, 64-29 over Northeast Cairo. Then you pick up a good Norwood team that had won 3 games combined over the past 2 seasons, and they get a player back. Take us through that semifinal and then that state championship game.
That Norwood team, you look at them on the last 2 years, and they hadn't won a lot of games. Then you start watching them on film, and you kind of figure out why they were pretty good this year. They had their senior guard that came back that was an extremely good player that missed the last 2 seasons for ACL surgeries. And then you also looked at their personnel, and they had 3 freshmen that played a big role in their team this year. They had a 6'1" post that was a freshman. They started another freshman most of the year at forward that was like a 5'10" girl. And then they brought another freshman off the bench that was an extremely skilled guard. They were young. They also had their girl back off of missing 2 years. That was an extremely good player. They were a good team. They played good defense. They had the ability to score inside out. I thought our girls did an excellent job in that semifinal game, limiting them to 1 shot. They kind of started the game that night, just trying to stall and slow it down. And they had 1 possession that lasted over 2 minutes, and they had several other possessions that lasted a minute in that first quarter. I thought our girls did a really good job of settling in and getting really high quality shots, high percentage shots in the end of the first quarter and started the second quarter to where we built up an 11-0 lead. And then from that point forward, Norwood kind of had to play our game. They had to try and score. And then, we ended up scoring 20 points in the second quarter and 20 in the third quarter as well to kind of stretch that lead out. In the third quarter, they did make a run at us, and they cut it to 15, but our girls answered back with a couple threes from Myra and Charlie that stretched the lead back out to 20. And then, from that point forward, it was just trying to, finish the game off, rebounding and defense in the fourth quarter.
Outstanding. You've got several young ladies in the room, but 3 right there with you. Start off with, Briar Cox, and tell us a little bit about what she does and what makes her special.
Briar, she's got a lot of things that make her special, but she's an extremely, extremely good rebounder. She finished her career right around 1,300 career rebounds and right around 1,300 career points. So, she scored well, she rebounded well all 4 years. And then next to her, we have Myra Claas, who, scored a few more points than that, but she finished with 2,500 career points. And Charlie over here, she's sophomore. Sophomore girl that's averaged around 13 points, was our second leading scorer this year, and plays extremely good defense, and usually guarded the other team's best player if they were the one or the two, and then if they were the three or the four, Myra took them.
Well, Briar, how are you today?
Great.
How are you?
Really busy.
Tell us a little bit about what your thoughts were of this past weekend. What are some things that stood out, and what are some things you're not going to forget?
I've already been to state like 2 other times, so I mean, it wasn't really like anything new to me, but it did feel different because we went to the championship and we won this time, so that did feel really good. I mean, the whole weekend was just like so fun. Going to state is just the best time of your life. It's the best experience you'll ever have as an athlete, I think.
What are one or two things that stand out that you're never going to forget? And it may be when that buzzer went off.
Yeah, like whenever Myra stole the ball and had just like a wide open layup at the other end of the court. I'll never forget that. I mean, it just made me so happy because I knew that it just like sealed it. Like I knew we were just gonna win it. I'm gonna start crying right now. But, getting our medals and hugging the coaches. I mean, it really. Just being with the team.
So tell me.
And last few moments with everyone was just great.
Tell me a little bit about your roles and responsibilities on the team. Coach talked about some of the things you do, and has your role changed since your freshman year?
No, I mean, Coach put me in. He told me that he put me in freshman year because I had to go out. Someone had to go out and rebound, and I did. I did just that, and ever since then, it's just been rebounding mainly. And obviously, as a 5'11" post, you're gonna have to score some. I mean, so just sophomore year, I scored more than I had in other teams because we didn't have very many talented players to score as much. But then I just rebounding basically. Yeah.
Very good. Who's the first person you got to hug when you realized you'd won the state title?
Myra. I think it's Myra. I don't know. It was all just a blur. I mean, you just go and hug anyone that you can. It's just everyone.
What's it been like since you've been back at school?
Weird. It's been weird. I mean, after you win a state, that's like, what do you do? Like it's just weird, but it's also great. I mean, I love our community. I love the support that we've gotten. We've gotten so much support from everyone in the hall saying congrats, and all the posts that I've seen. I mean, anytime I went on social media, I just see post after post after post about our going to state, and it's just great. Love the support from everyone and surrounding communities.
Very good. Very good. So have you had to pay for a meal since you've been back?
Since we've been back, yes.
Well, I tell you what, coaches and players alike tell me all the time that, hey, you win a state title and for the next few weeks, the food always tastes better. You sleep so much better. And, but Briar, congratulations on the state championship and thanks for being part of the Missouri Sports Network here today.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Now we've got on the other side of Coach, we've got Charlie Bailey, sophomore. Coach, tell us a little bit about Charlie.
Charlie is a sophomore point guard, 2-guard for us. She does an extremely good job on the offensive end. She's a knockdown shooter. She averaged around 46% from 3 this year. She averaged around 13.5 points per game. She really took a bigger role this year in handling the basketball as well. She did a phenomenal job being
That's okay.
She did a phenomenal job being the 2-guard for us. Helped things out a lot, against those bigger schools that would press. She just took a lot larger role this year in things, and she did a great job for us.
Charlie, how are you today?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your experience in Springfield over the weekend. What was it like? What are some things you're not going to forget?
Well, it was definitely different for me because, like Briar said, she's been there 2 times, and those past 2 times I was just in the audience. So, I mean, it's great to watch, but to be an athlete playing is completely different. It's awesome. Like, I love it. Like, there's no way to describe it. Like, I just can't. I definitely, I don't think that I'll ever forget how it was to run out. Like, we've done spotlights at our school, and, like, turn off the lights and have a spotlight, but nothing beats how it was there and how we had, like, our whole, like, a video for us before we ran out. I felt like I was in college, like, maybe the WNBA. I didn't know what was happening. It was awesome.
What was it like when you first walked into the arena? That's a 12,000 seat arena. What were your thoughts there? Did that give you some pause, maybe a little bit?
I mean, it kind of definitely made me more nervous to play, I guess, because I mean, I've been in there before, but again, it was to watch like my sister. Like I didn't have any pressure to play. I was just there to cheer on, and so it was definitely different. It made me a little nervous, but more excited just because I know that our town was going to pack the stands and be loud cheering us on.
What as you go forward here, you're just a sophomore. How do you get kind of mentally prepared for the games? Are you nervous before games being an underclassman?
I would say I get a little bit nervous depending on what games we play, but I mean, I think that it kind of just it's in the moment. After I warm up, I mean, I'm fine. I'm ready to play.
More nervous at a game or more nervous right now?
I mean, right now I'm a little nervous. Yeah, my legs kind of going ham.
That's okay. Who was the first person that you heard from after the game that wasn't at the game? Did your phone blow up? Who's texting you or calling you after the game?
A lot of people, and a lot of people I'm not even close with. I feel like it was like my birthday. I kept getting congrats, congrats. I'm just thank you, thank you. It felt really weird.
Very good. Very good. Well, Charlie, again, congratulations on the state championship, and thanks for being part of the show today.
Thank you.
And now, before we get to our next young lady, Myra Claas, this is a part of the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week presented by the Missouri State Highway Patrol. And we'll run a little clip here real quick, and we'll come back and visit with our Athlete of the Week.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective, and find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
So Myra Claas, senior, scored her 2,500th point. Actually in the state championship game, I believe. Am I correct, Coach?
Yes, you're correct.
Tell us a little bit about Myra.
Myra has been with us all 4 years. It's been a great career for her and for us. Started out as a freshman. We ended up playing for a state championship her freshman year, and she was a big part of that team as well. She actually scored, I think, 23 points in the first half. 21 points in the first half of the state championship game her freshman year. She's not new to that stage. And then, as a sophomore, she got to return back to the Final Four. And then we lost a really close game to Skyline in overtime. And then last year, we came up just one game short at the quarterfinals game from returning back to the Final Four. And then this year, just a storybook ending to a career by finishing things off with a state title. And then, for her, getting her 2,500 point in a state championship game is phenomenal. I mean, she deserves it and everything else that she gets with it because she's an extremely hard worker. She's up here all the time. People don't even know how many hours she spends up here at the gym, putting in time shooting and just adding new things to her game to improve and get better.
Myra, first off, on behalf of the Missouri Sports Network, congratulations on being named Chevrolet Athlete of the Week presented by the Missouri State Highway Patrol.
Thank you.
Did you realize that you were close to 2,500?
No, I actually had no idea that I was close at all. They did not tell me that, so I'm grateful that they didn't tell me that because that adds extra nerves and didn't need this.
I also didn't know because I knew about 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks before that game, that she was going to be really close to 2,500 points. But once we kind of got in that home stretch of New Franklin, Cairo, Norwood, and then the state championship against LeBond. I kind of didn't pay attention to the individual stuff, and I completely lost track of it.
So when did you find out, Myra? Was it after the game or during the game?
Well, it was actually like when we were waiting to get our medals. One of my sister's friends who had a sign held up, I asked him if I got that, and he said yeah. So it was pretty cool.
Very good. Do you remember the first basket you scored?
Ever?
Yeah.
Ever?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in your freshman year. I don't mean.
Oh, I have no idea.
To go back and look now that you said that.
It's probably a layup though.
Yeah.
4 or 3.
Well, tell us, Myra, tell us about your experiences, this past weekend. What was it like? What are some things that stand out to you?
It was awesome. It was good to be back. Not going last year was not the most fun thing in the world, but I'd have to agree with Charlie on the most memorable part. It's definitely when you're sitting there getting announced at the state championship. I remember it from freshman year, and it was almost the same, and it was just cool to see everybody in the stands, everybody wearing red from any way you look. There was people everywhere supporting us. I would say that's definitely up there.
What are some things over your career that you are going to remember? This has got to be maybe at the top of the list, but what are some standout things that you remember that you won't forget?
I think definitely the postseason runs in general, they kind of trump over everything else because you're just in that moment. You're so excited, and everybody's just trying to get a state championship done. And like all of those, especially when we played South Callaway, is one that I remember a lot because we went out there and there was a lot of doubt on if we would win or not. And we just went in there, we took care of business. So that's one of the ones that's definitely up there for me and memorable.
Myra, if you could go back to 2019 and give a freshman Myra class some advice based on what you know now, what advice would you give yourself?
I'd say probably just always staying focused and never letting any of the outside stuff get to you, like during a game, whether that's like refs, how the fans are acting, the other team student section, anything like that. I think being more mentally tough, especially for last season, more so than this season, having more composure would have helped a lot.
Very good. Well, again, on behalf of the Missouri Sports Network and Chevrolet, congratulations on being named as Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week, presented by the Missouri State Highway Patrol.
Thank you.
You bet. And, Coach, I know we've got some other young ladies there, and they can feed their way in. Yeah, they can go ahead and bring them over now. And, you are in school, so there'll be a little bit of background noise, so we understand that. But got some young ladies here, so we got 3 more coming in, and you might introduce them one at a time, and we'll talk with them. So go ahead. Who do we have first?
Okay, right here next to me, on my left, we have Brett Cox, senior. And then we have on this side of me, on my right side, we have Josie Dykes. Or you want to be Josephine? Josie Dykes. And then over here on the very end, we have Olivia Wolf, senior. They're all 3 seniors.
Okay. Well, we'll start with, did you say Brett Cox?
Yep, Brett Cox.
Tell us a little bit about Brett and what she does.
Brett was a starter for us this year. She was our senior forward that played, a lot of different roles for us depending upon what the other team did. There were some games where we ran kind of the point guard through the high post, and she did a great job in that role. There were other games where she was asked to step out and kind of play 4 out some and kind of be like that 4th guard and distribute the basketball, set screens, and do things of that nature. So, Brett's kind of like that Swiss Army tool that we have that can kind of do about anything. And, she's 6 foot, so that helps a lot as well. She rebounds well. She blocks a lot of shots with her size and her length. And, she does a lot of things for us. On this side, Josie Dykes, she comes off the bench for us. Josie did a great job this year in a lot of different ways. Josie and Olivia both have kind of a role as a senior of being great teammates. They also have a role of being the most challenging that they can be for us in practice against our starters, and they really do a great job in that role. games throughout the season, they've came in huge for us. In limited minutes, they've came up huge for us, and coming in and Josie getting stops on defense, or Olivia having to play the post against like the East Buchanan girl that's going down to jury. Olivia came in that game against East Buchanan and played a lot of huge minutes for us. When Bri was in foul trouble, and then Brett needed some breaks. They've played different roles for us all year, but providing great senior leadership throughout the entire year, being some of the best teammates in the state of Missouri, would be what I would consider both of their roles.
We'll start with Brett. Brett, thanks for being part of the show today. Tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are about the weekend and the state championship.
It didn't really seem real to me. That's what I kept telling Charlie and Myra when we were getting our medals. I just kept telling them, I don't even know what's happening. It doesn't feel like we just won a state championship. But after, what really hit me is when we got back to Tipton. It was really just sad knowing that it was my last year.
What are some things
that we ended it that way?
What are some things that are going to stand out the most about your high school career? Obviously, a state championship has to be one, but a lot of times it's the memories, it's the relationships you develop. What are some things that you're not going to forget?
Definitely just the relationship with the team. I wouldn't probably want to play basketball if it wasn't this team. I was indecisive when I was going into high school about playing, but now I'm so happy that I did.
Now, being a senior, have you made a decision on what you're going to do next year?
I'm not going to play basketball next year, but I'm going to go to college at State Fair.
In any particular area of study?
Business.
Business. Is there background? I mean, have you got family that are business people?
Not really. I work at a job that deals with money, and I like working with money. So
there you go. Well, hey, congratulations on the state championship, and thanks so much for being part of the show today.
Thank you.
And then, is it Josie?
Yes.
All right. Tell us a little bit about your experiences.
We went to state 3 times, and being able to experience all 3 times has been so memorable for me. And being able to have it with the team all 4 years, even though we fell short last year, it's just been such a good opportunity to have, and I'll never forget it. Even if I wasn't starting, I was there for all my girls, and it was just so nice to be there with them and support them.
Josie, what are you going to miss most?
Probably the memories and the people. A lot of us are seniors, and we're going to go all separate ways, so it's going to be really different not having those people by my side and being able to stay in touch. It'll just be different not being able to see all these people every single day like I have for the past 4 years.
So what are your plans after high school?
I'm not sure where I'm going to go to college, but I'm going to go into nursing. I'm going to major in nursing somewhere.
Well, Josie, hey, congratulations on the state championship, and thanks for being part of the show today.
Thank you.
And Olivia, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So what are some things that are going to stand out that you're not going to forget about this team and this your career, basically?
I again would just say going to the Final Four 3 times and not playing very much, but still going is one of the best experiences I've ever had. I would also say just we're also close as a team, and I'm really just going to miss hanging out with them for 4 months out of the year.
So what are you going to miss the most? You talking about the relationships and hanging out? Is that what you're going to miss the most?
Yeah, we have a lot of inside jokes on the team, so just making those and just hanging out with them, honestly. I have a lot of good, close friends on this team, so.
What are some things that you look back on that make you smile, and you're thinking about something right now, apparently?
Sorry. Summer ball a lot was just some of the most fun times that I've had. We go to a water park as a team, which is just so fun. And just a lot of stuff like that. We do random things like go to a movie or just eat dinner together.
All right. Very good. Well, Olivia, thank you for being part of the show. Congratulations on the state championship.
Thank you.
Coach, kind of put a bow on. We don't have anyone else, do we?
Nope, that's
All
it.
right. Kind of put a bow on it. Just your thoughts about this group that's moving on now.
Yeah, so it's been a few days, so I've been trying to work through that. And, every time I think about the senior class as a whole, how much they've meant to the program, how much fun we've had over these last 4 years, it's just, sad. You think about every year whenever you lose that last game, you're always sad, and you always think that if you win a state championship, no one's going to be sad. Everybody's just going to be happy. But this year, more than other years, I learned that at the end of each season, the biggest reason why I'm sad is because the people, the people that you lose to graduation, and the fact that you just don't get to hang out like you used to, and so that's the biggest part for me. And if you're gonna end your career, ending it with a state championship is the best way to go out, because you get to continue creating memories with those kids. Whether it's coming back for a 10-year reunion at the state games, whenever you get to go down the floor, the 20-year reunion and things like that. I saw a picture of Skyline from their 20-year state reunion picture from this past weekend down there at the Final Four, and just seeing that those kids all show back up 20 years later when they're 38 years old and they have kids and they have families, and staying connected and still being a family like we are now is just awesome.
Very good. Coach, just on behalf of the Missouri Sports Network, congratulations on the state championship, and I appreciate you guys being generous with your time here on the Missouri Sports Network. It's been an honor to get to visit, and kind of it's always fun to put voices and faces with names that you see and see so much of, and I'm just blessed to be able to kind of bounce around the state. I'm geographically challenged. I have no idea where Tipton is, or Meadville is, or anything like that, or South Iron for that matter. But it's always a pleasure to get to visit with the kids and the coaches that make it happen. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate what you do. You guys do a great job, and we always love seeing your guys' stuff and posts that you guys put on Twitter.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Couldn't do it without you. You've been watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.